Welcome to Grok Talks, where raw ideas become real conversations. Thanks for showing up. I was elbow deep in dishwater the other night when Elijah Wood appeared. Not in the kitchen, in my head. Just the name, clear as a bell, while I was working at a crust of tomato sauce that had decided to become a permanent resident of my favorite pan. Elijah Wood. Frodo Baggins. The actor I'd been hunting for hours earlier and completely failed to catch. That morning, a friend and I had been talking Lord of the Rings, and I got stuck. Who played Frodo? I knew the face, I knew the voice, but the name sat just out of reach, like a word on the tip of a tongue that had gone on permanent vacation. I tried free associating. I tried movie posters in my mind. I even ran through the alphabet. Nothing. So I shrugged and moved on with the day. 7 hours later, there it was, rising up through the steam of the sink. No fanfare, no struggle, just present. That recrudescence felt like someone had handed me a gift I didn't know I'd still wanted. No, it happened again a few weeks later with a writer. I'd spent a whole semester deep in her stories, the peacocks, the sudden violence, the grace that hits like a 2x4, but her name had evaporated. I pushed, I paced, I almost Googled and then forced myself not to. Let it go. 2 hours later, while I was thinking about completely unrelated groceries, Flannery O'Connor just stepped forward. Another recrudescence. I laughed out loud in the produce aisle. It felt like unlocking a secret door in the house of my own skull. This is what I call the Elijah Wood effect. There's a part of it that keeps turning the problem over in the dark, long after the lights of attention have switched rooms. There's an old parable Jesus told about a younger son who demanded his inheritance early, packed up and left for a far country. He wasted everything on wild living until he was broke and hungry, reduced to feeding pigs and envying their pods. Then he came to himself. He decided to go home, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and ran to meet him, threw his arms around him and kissed him. I think the name Elijah Wood does something like that. When you force it, when you chase it around the rooms of your memory with a net, it flees. It takes its portion of your attention and goes off into the far country of the forgotten. It lives among the pigs of half-formed associations. Then, after a stretch of quiet when you've stopped hunting, it turns and starts back, and your mind, standing at the sink or the cereal aisle, runs out to meet it with this sudden recognition. There you are. The quiet in between is the long way off. The return is the recrudescence. Wild, right? The father running. What would it be like, though, to have a mind that couldn't do this? A mind that stops existing between thoughts. No dark kitchen where the work continues. No far country the memory can travel through and return from. Just bright flashes of conscious effort, and between them, blank. Total cessation, like a candle snuffed and relit, with no smoke or residual heat carrying over. Every search for a name would start from absolute zero. No gifts arriving while your hands are busy. No invisible ally turning the soil while you sleep or scrub. I sit with that, and it spooks me a little. How thin such a life would feel. How much effort for so little surprise. No soft arrivals, just you, alone with the full load of thinking every second you're awake, and nothing in between. But that's not us. We have the other thing, the continuous current under the surface. Most of what makes us clever or creative or even just functional is happening out of sight, and that delights me, it encourages me, because it means I don't have to hold everything in the fist of my attention. I can plant the question and walk away. I can trust the part of me that keeps working while I'm elsewhere. Honeybees. There's this thing they do. A scout finds nectar, she flies back. Inside the dark hive, she performs a waggle dance, a figure 8 on the vertical comb, vibrating her body. The angle of the straight run relative to straight up tells the direction of the flowers relative to the sun. The duration of the waggle tells how far. Other bees cluster around, touch her with their antennae, learn the dance without ever seeing the flowers themselves, and then they fly out and find the patch. Uncanny precision. No shared language the way we think of language. No committee meetings. Just this embodied signal moving through the colony, and suddenly a whole community of insects is off collecting exactly what they need. I get stuck on that sometimes. How much knowledge can travel without a single conscious narrator? How a body can hold geometry it never studied? The hive as a mind distributed across thousands of small lives. Absolutely wild, no GPS. And then I realize that's the sharpest way to understand what happens with Elijah Wood. You give the problem a few failed tries. You feed the hive your frustration, your almost remembrances. Then you leave. You go do the dishes. Somewhere in the dark of your own neural hive, something is dancing the connections, following trails of association, testing angles of meaning, until the path to the name is clear. Then it surfaces into the light of your awareness. The soft return, the father running down the road, the name arriving while tomato sauce loosens under the sponge. So next time a fact or a face or a word slips away from you, try not to clutch. Let it go quiet for a while. Go wash something. Go walk. Let the long stretch of quiet do its work. And when the recrudescence comes, smile, because that part of your thinking is invisible even to you, and yet it's yours. It's been working all along. It's already on its way home. So you thought you knew. Might have noticed I kept saying recrudescence. recrudescence. It means the soft return of something after a long stretch of quiet. That's the gift of the mind that doesn't stop existing between thoughts. Trust the quiet. Wait for the soft return.